My sister said your apartment is wasted on you. Someone like me deserves it more, then tried to move in with forged papers. So I pressed charges and watch her get arrested at 2 a.m. trying to break in. I 32M and I have a younger sister Jennifer 28F who has always been the golden child in our family. Our parents, Robert 62M and Patricia 60F, have spent decades telling everyone who would listen about Jennifer's achievements while treating mine as footnotes. Let me give you some background. I work in software development and started my own company 6 years ago. It wasn't easy. I lived on ramen for 2 years, worked 18-hour days, and nearly went bankrupt twice. But I pushed through, and last year we got acquired by a larger tech firm. The payout allowed me to buy my dream home, a penthouse in downtown, with floor-to-ceiling windows and a view of the city skyline. Jennifer, meanwhile, is a marketing manager at a cosmetics company. She's good at her job. I'll give her that. But she acts like she's running Fortune 500 companies. Every family dinner becomes a TED Talk about her latest revolutionary Instagram campaign or how she transformed the brand's digital presence. Our parents eat it up, nodding along like she's curing cancer. The problem started 3 months ago when Jennifer came to see my penthouse for the first time. I'd been living there for about 8 months, finally getting it decorated the way I wanted. She walked in, and I could see her expression change, that calculating look she gets when she wants something. "This is adequate," she said, running her manicured fingers along my leather couch. "Though honestly, James, this place is wasted on you. You don't even entertain. When was the last time you had people over?" I laughed it off, thinking she was just being her usual condescending self, but then she started pointing out everything wrong with my decor choices. The art was pedestrian. The furniture arrangement blocked the energy flow. And don't get her started on my color palette. "Someone who actually appreciates luxury should be living here," she said, standing at my window. "Someone who knows how to showcase a space like this. You're treating it like a dorm room." That should have been my first warning sign. 2 weeks later, at our parents' house for Sunday dinner, Jennifer brought it up again. "I've been thinking about James's penthouse," she announced over dessert. "It really is too much space for one person who works from home all day." My mother immediately perked up. "Oh, Jennifer, are you thinking of upgrading from your apartment?" Jennifer smiled. That practiced smile she uses in meetings. "Well, I've been promoted to senior marketing director. Did I mention that? And with my new salary and social obligations, I need a space that reflects my position. James's place would be perfect." I nearly choked on my coffee. "My place isn't for sale or rent, Jen." She waved her hand dismissively. "Oh, James, don't be silly. I'm not talking about buying it from you. I'm talking about a family arrangement. You could move back to something more suitable for your lifestyle, and I could take over the penthouse. It makes more sense." My father nodded thoughtfully. "She has a point, son. Jennifer does a lot of entertaining for work. You just sit at your computer all day." "I run a tech company," I said, trying to keep my voice level. "I worked my ass off to afford that place." Language, my mother scolded. "And really, James, there's no need to be selfish. Jennifer's right. She would make better use of the space. You could get a nice one-bedroom somewhere quieter." I looked around the table, waiting for someone to laugh to indicate this was all a joke. But they were serious. Dead serious. "That penthouse is mine," I said firmly. "I bought it with money I earned building my company from nothing." End of discussion. Jennifer's eyes narrowed. "God, James, why do you always have to make everything about competition? This isn't about who earned what, it's about what makes sense for the family. You're being incredibly immature." "Immature?" I stood up. "You're literally trying to convince me to give you my home because you think you deserve it more." "Because I do," she snapped, her composed facade cracking. "I'm the one with the active social life. I'm the one whose career is actually going somewhere. I'm the one who knows how to present themselves properly. You got lucky with some tech buyout, but that doesn't mean you know how to live well." My mother reached for Jennifer's hand. "Sweetheart, don't upset yourself. Your brother has always been jealous of your success." "Jealous?" I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "She's trying to take my home. No one's taking anything," my father said in that dismissive tone he's used with me since childhood. "Jennifer's just being practical. You should consider her proposal instead of throwing a tantrum." I left without finishing dessert. Since then, Jennifer has been texting me listings for one-bedroom apartments just to give me options. She's also been posting photos on Instagram from various rooftop bars and events with captions like "manifesting my dream penthouse" and "soon to be living my best life in the sky." My parents have called 3 times to tell me I'm being stubborn and selfish and that I should think about what's best for the family. Apparently, what's best for the family is me giving up the home I worked for because my sister has decided she deserves it more. The worst part, Jennifer has started telling people she's in the process of acquiring a penthouse downtown. A mutual friend reached out to ask if I was selling, and when I said no, they seemed confused. But Jennifer said she's already started planning the renovation. I don't know what to do. This is insane, right? I'm not crazy for refusing to give up my home. How do I get them to understand that this isn't happening? Update 1 2 weeks later. I didn't expect my original post to get so much attention. Thank you to everyone who confirmed I'm not losing my mind. Unfortunately, things have escalated in ways I never imagined possible. Last Tuesday, I was working from home when I heard voices in my hallway. Not unusual in an apartment building, except these voices were getting closer, and one of them was very familiar. Then I heard the unmistakable sound of keys in my lock. I opened the door to find Jennifer standing there with two women I didn't recognize holding tablets and color swatches. My sister was trying different keys on her keychain. Apparently, she'd been testing random keys hoping one might work. Jennifer, what the hell are you doing? She smiled brightly, not even fazed at being caught. Oh, James, perfect timing. This is Amanda and Michelle from Lux Interiors. I'm getting a consultation for the renovation. The two designers looked uncomfortable, clearly sensing the tension. I stared at my sister in disbelief. Renovation of what? The penthouse, obviously. She pushed past me, gesturing for the designers to follow. Ladies, I apologize for my brother. He's still adjusting to the transition. There is no transition. I blocked the doorway. This is my home. Jennifer, you need to leave now. Jennifer's smile turned cold. James, stop making a scene. I told Amanda and Michelle about our arrangement, how you're downsizing and I'm taking over the space. Don't embarrass yourself. Amanda cleared her throat. Perhaps we should reschedule, Jennifer. It seems there might be some miscommunication. There's no miscommunication, Jennifer said firmly. My brother is just being difficult. James, let us in. I need to take measurements. No. I looked at the designers. I'm sorry you've wasted your time, but my sister has no claim to this apartment. This is my property and she's not welcome here. Michelle exchanged glances with Amanda. We should go. Jennifer, please contact us when you've sorted things out. They left quickly, clearly eager to escape the awkwardness. Jennifer stayed her arms crossed. You just humiliated me in front of the best design team in the city, she hissed. You humiliated yourself by lying to them. I started to close my door, but she blocked it with her foot. This isn't over, James. That penthouse should be mine, and you know it. You're wasting it, sitting in there alone like some hermit. I have the connections, the lifestyle, the presence to make that space what it should be. Get out of my building before I call security. She left, but not before telling me I'd regret choosing pride over family. That evening, I got a call from my mother. She was nearly in tears, telling me how I devastated Jennifer by publicly humiliating her. According to the version Jennifer told our parents, I'd invited her over to discuss the transition, then ambushed her in front of the designers to make her look foolish. She was trying to break into my apartment. I protested. Don't be dramatic, James. She was probably just confused about the timing. You know how busy she is with her promotion. She's juggling so much and you're making everything harder. The gaslighting was unreal. I tried explaining what actually happened, but my mother kept interrupting with, Jennifer wouldn't lie, and you've always resented her success. The next day, my father called with a proposal. Jennifer would forgive my behavior if I agreed to let her co-host events at my penthouse, giving her a key so she could come and go as needed for her professional obligations. Absolutely not, I said. Be reasonable, son. She's not asking for much, just the ability to use the space occasionally for networking. It would actually benefit you. Jennifer knows important people. Dad, she tried to bring interior designers to renovate my apartment without my permission. She's delusional. That's a harsh word to use about your sister. She's ambitious, not delusional. Maybe if you showed a little more ambition yourself, you'd understand. I hung up on him, but Jennifer wasn't done. That weekend, she showed up again, this time with our parents and her boyfriend Michael, a finance guy who clearly comes for money and acts like it. They were carrying bags from a high-end home goods store. We are here for the housewarming, Jennifer announced loudly in the hallway, making sure my neighbors could hear. What housewarming? I asked through the door, refusing to open it. Don't be rude, James, my mother called out. We brought gifts for Jennifer's new place. Let us in. This is not Jennifer's place. This will never be Jennifer's place. Please leave. Michael laughed. Come on, man. Jen told me you agreed to the arrangement. Don't make this weird. There is no arrangement. I was practically shouting now. Jennifer is lying to everyone. My neighbor, Mrs. Chen, poked her head out. Is everything all right? Jennifer immediately turned on the charm. I'm so sorry for the disturbance. I'm Jennifer James's sister. We're just having a little family miscommunication about the transition. You know how stressful moving can be." Mrs. Chen looked confused but nodded politely before retreating to her apartment. Jennifer had just planted the seed that she was moving in. "Leave now or I'm calling the police," I said through the door. My father's voice turned hard. "James, if you call the police on your family, you're no longer part of this family." They left, but the damage was done. Jennifer had introduced herself to my neighbor as someone who was moving in. She told her boyfriend we had an arrangement. She was creating a narrative that I was the unreasonable one standing in the way of something already decided. Update 2. 3 weeks later. The situation has spiraled so far out of control that I've had to take legal action. Yes, against my own family. After the housewarming incident, Jennifer escalated her campaign. She started posting on social media about her upcoming move to a penthouse and how sometimes family makes transitions difficult, but persistence pays off. She was careful never to explicitly lie, but the implication was clear. She was moving into my place, and I was the obstacle. Then came the wellness check. 2 weeks ago, I was in a virtual meeting with clients when there was a knock at my door. I ignored it, thinking it was another of Jennifer's stunts. The knocking got louder, more insistent. Then I heard, "Mr. James, this is the police. We need to confirm you're okay." I muted my meeting and answered the door to find 2 officers and a social worker. They explained they'd received a call about a welfare concern that I was showing signs of mental distress isolation and potentially harmful behavior. "Who called this in?" I asked, though I already knew. The social worker checked her notes. "Your sister Jennifer. She says you've been increasingly paranoid, making false accusations about family members, isolating herself, and showing signs of delusional thinking." I felt my blood run cold. She's lying. She's trying to take my apartment and is angry that I won't give it to her. The officers exchanged glances. I could see how that sounded. The more I tried to explain, the crazier I seemed. A sister trying to steal her brother's apartment. Parents supporting such an insane scheme. It sounded like paranoid delusion. They stayed for 30 minutes assessing me, looking around my apartment, asking questions about my mental health history, my work, my social connections. In the end, they determined I wasn't a threat to myself or others, but the social worker strongly suggested I seek support for family conflict resolution. After they left, I was shaking with rage. Jennifer had tried to have me declared mentally incompetent. I called my lawyer friend David, who confirmed my worst fears. If she can establish a pattern of mental health concerns, she could potentially argue for conservatorship or power of attorney, especially with your parents' support. He said, "You need to document everything and consider a restraining order." That's when I found out the full extent of Jennifer's campaign. She'd been telling everyone in our extended family and social circle that I was having a breakdown, that the money from selling my company had gone to my head, and I was paranoid and delusional, thinking everyone was out to get my possessions. My cousin Sarah called me after hearing from Jennifer. She says you accused her of trying to steal your apartment. James, that sounds... Are you okay, Sarah? She literally brought interior designers to my home without my permission. She's been telling people she's moving in. There was a long pause. That's not what she told me. She said you invited her to look at the place because you were thinking of downgrading, then got paranoid and kicked her out. I sent Sarah screenshots of Jennifer's texts about taking over my penthouse, her Instagram posts about manifesting her new home, everything. Sarah was shocked. This is insane, James. She's actually trying to take your home. At least someone believed me. I've since installed security cameras in my hallway with building permission, changed my locks to smart locks that alert me to any attempted entry, and put a Ring doorbell that records all visitors. I've also had to inform building security that my sister is not authorized to access my apartment under any circumstances. My parents are furious. They've called me paranoid, cruel, and mentally unstable for taking these precautions. My mother sent me a long text about how I'm destroying the family and breaking Jennifer's heart with my irrational suspicions. She called the police to have me mentally evaluated. I responded. She was worried about you. You've been acting erratically, cutting family off, making wild accusations. Any loving sister would be concerned. Update 3. 1 month later, I've gone no contact with my entire immediate family, and it's both the hardest and most necessary thing I've ever done. The breaking point came 2 weeks ago. Jennifer had been quiet for a few days. No texts, no surprise visits, no social media posts about her penthouse. I should have known she was planning something. I got a call from my building's management office asking me to come down immediately. There was a situation that required my immediate attention. When I arrived, I found Jennifer in the office with a man in a suit who introduced himself as her lawyer along with my parents. Jennifer had presented the building management with a document claiming she had equitable interest in my penthouse due to a family trust arrangement. The document was completely fabricated, but it looked official enough that management was taking it seriously. "This is fraud," I said immediately. "That document is fake. There is no family trust. I bought this penthouse myself with my own money." Jennifer's lawyer, because of course she actually hired a lawyer, spoke smoothly. "My client's position is that there was a verbal agreement regarding the property witnessed by Mr. and Mrs. Robert and Patricia that the penthouse would be transferred to Jennifer as part of a family arrangement." My parents nodded along. My own parents were willing to lie to steal my home for my sister. "This is insane," I said. "I have the deed. My name alone is on everything. Verbal contracts regarding property can be binding in certain circumstances," the lawyer continued. "We prepared to pursue this matter in court if necessary." The building manager looked uncomfortable. "Mr. James, perhaps you should get legal representation. Until this is resolved, we'll need to maintain current access rights as they stand. Only you have authorization to access the unit." Jennifer's face fell. She'd clearly expected the building to give her some kind of access based on this charade. I looked at my parents. "You're really doing this? You're actually helping her try to steal my home?" My mother's eyes were cold. "We're helping our daughter claim what was promised to her. You've always been selfish, James, but this is beyond acceptable." "What was promised? When did I ever promise her my penthouse when you bought it?" "My father said you said it was a family investment." "I never said that. I said I was proud to be able to afford it after growing up in our family." Meaning, despite never being supported or believed in, Jennifer smirked. "That's not how we remember it." I walked out and called David immediately. He recommended a real estate attorney who specialized in family property disputes. Within 48 hours, I had filed a cease and desist against Jennifer and made it clear that any further attempts to claim my property would result in charges for fraud and harassment. Jennifer responded by going nuclear on social media. She posted a long, tearful video about how her mentally ill brother was attacking the family and showing paranoid delusions. She claimed I'd promised her the penthouse when I was in a better state of mind and was now breaking that promise due to my deteriorating mental health. The comments were split. Some people who knew me reached out concerned. Others, mostly Jennifer's circle, offered her sympathy and called me horrible things. Someone even suggested she start a GoFundMe for legal fees to fight for what's rightfully hers. My parents did interviews with extended family painting me as unstable and cruel. They told everyone that I'd changed after making money, that I'd become paranoid and mean-spirited, cutting off the family that loved and supported me. The final straw was when Jennifer tried to contact my ex-girlfriend Emily to get her to provide a statement about my mental instability during our relationship. Emily called me immediately. "Your sister is insane," she said. "She offered me money to say you showed signs of paranoia and delusion when we were together. When I refused, she tried to guilt me, saying I could help get you the help you needed. That's when I made the decision to go completely no contact. I sent one final message to my parents and Jennifer. Any further attempts to contact me, access my property, or spread false information about my mental health will be met with legal action. I have documented everything, every lie, every attempt at fraud, every false welfare check. I have recordings, screenshots, and witness testimonies. If you continue this harassment, I will pursue criminal charges and a restraining order. You are no longer my family. Do not contact me again." My mother responded with a long voicemail about how I was sick and needed help, and how they were only trying to save me from myself. She ended with, "When you come to your senses and realize what you've thrown away for a piece of property, we might not be here anymore." My father texted, "You're no son of mine." Jennifer posted one more thing. "Sometimes you have to let go of toxic people, even if they're family. I'll always love my brother and hope he gets the help he needs." Folded hands, broken heart. Final update 3 months later. It's been 3 months since I went no contact, and I wanted to give one last update for closure, both for anyone following the story and for myself. The immediate aftermath of cutting contact was harder than I expected. Even knowing how toxic they were, there were moments where I questioned myself. Was I overreacting? Was I the unreasonable one? The gaslighting had been so intense that even with all the evidence, I sometimes doubted my own reality. But then Jennifer made one final mistake that validated everything. About a month after I went no contact, she apparently convinced herself that I'd moved out. She told people I'd abandoned the penthouse and fled the state due to my mental health crisis. She even managed to convince Michael, her boyfriend, that the apartment was sitting empty and that she had a legal right to it. One night, my security system alerted me to movement at my door at 2 a.m. I checked the camera to see Jennifer with Michael and another man I didn't recognize. They were trying to break in with what looked like lockpicking tools. I called 911 immediately and watched through the camera as they worked on my lock. The police arrived within minutes, catching them in the act. Jennifer tried to spin it as a misunderstanding, claiming she thought I'd abandoned the property and she was checking on it for safety reasons. The police didn't buy it, especially when I showed them the cease and desist order and the documentation of her previous attempts. She was arrested for attempted breaking and entering. Michael was mortified. He genuinely hadn't known the full story and broke up with her on the spot. My parents tried to call me dozens of times that night, but I didn't answer. They left messages begging me not to press charges, saying Jennifer had made a mistake and was just confused. Then the threat started. If I press charges, they disown me, already done. Disinherit me, there's nothing to inherit, and make sure everyone knew what a monster I was. I pressed charges. Jennifer ended up pleading down to a misdemeanor and got probation plus a restraining order. The arrest and legal issues also cost her the promotion she'd been bragging about. Turns out companies don't love when their senior marketing directors get arrested for attempted burglary. The family explosion was nuclear. Extended relatives took sides. Most sided with my parents initially, but as more truth came out, especially the arrest report and the security footage I shared with select family members, opinions shifted. My cousin Sarah became my biggest defender, sharing the screenshots I'd sent her months earlier. My aunt, my mom's sister, reached out after seeing everything. I always wondered why Jennifer was the golden child when you were the one who never asked for anything and made something of yourself. Now I know it's easier to parent the child who tells you what you want to hear than the one who shows you who you really are. As for my parents, they've doubled down. They've told everyone that I set Jennifer up, that I manipulated the situation to make her look bad. They claimed the arrest was my fault for driving her to desperation by stealing what was promised to her. But here's the thing, I don't care anymore. My penthouse is peaceful now. I've redecorated a bit. Not because Jennifer was right about my style, but because I wanted to reclaim the space as fully mine. Every room she criticized, I've made more me. I bought art. I love furniture that's comfortable rather than impressive. And yes, I kept my pedestrian color palette. I've been in therapy to deal with the years of gaslighting and favoritism I endured. My therapist helped me understand that Jennifer's entitlement and my parents' enabling weren't my fault or my responsibility to fix. The golden child/scape dynamic was set long before the penthouse. This just brought it to an undeniable head. I've built a chosen family of friends who actually support and celebrate my successes. My business is thriving. Turns out, removing toxic stress from your life does wonders for productivity and creativity. I'm even dating someone new, Lisa, who's heard this whole saga and jokes about installing a moat around the penthouse. Sometimes I get flying monkeys, distant relatives or family friends who try to guilt me into reconciliation. Life's too short, they say. Family is family, but they weren't there when my family tried to steal my home, gaslight me into thinking I was crazy, and then tried to break in when that didn't work. Jennifer still posts about her dream penthouse occasionally, though she's had to move to a smaller apartment after losing her promotion. My parents are still funding her lifestyle, convinced that she's a victim of my cruelty. They're in their 60s, spending their retirement supporting a 28-year-old who believes the world owes her everything. Do I have regrets? No. I regret that it came to this, but I don't regret protecting myself, my home, and my sanity. I worked hard for what I have. Not just the penthouse, but my peace of mind. Nobody, not even family, especially not family, has the right to take that away. For anyone dealing with similar situations, document everything. Trust your gut. Don't let anyone make you feel crazy for protecting what's yours. And remember, family isn't about blood. It's about who shows up for you without an agenda. The penthouse is mine, the peace is mine, the future is mine. And for the first time in my life, I'm not apologizing for any of it. My view of the city skyline has never looked better.